Don't Be Hoarder by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. Your thoughts are your fortune. Between your two ears lies the most powerful creation in the known universe, your mind. It's the source of everything you will ever have, do, or become. Most people go through life never truly understanding this remarkable truth. Your thoughts are your fortune. Think of your mind as a garden. The thoughts you plant today become the reality you harvest tomorrow. Plant seeds of doubt, worry, and fear, and you'll grow a life filled with limitation. But plant seeds of possibility, confidence, and abundance, and you'll harvest a life beyond your wildest dreams. I've observed something fascinating throughout my years of studying successful people. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't talent, education, or luck. It's how they direct their thoughts. Successful people focus their mental energy on what they want, while unsuccessful people dwell on what they don't want. When you worry about bills, you're thinking about lack. When you fret about illness, you're focusing on disease. When you fear failure, you're planting the very seeds that will grow into the thing you're trying to avoid. Your mind doesn't understand don't, it simply responds to the pictures you paint within it. Every thought you entertain is a choice. Many folks don't realize they can select their thoughts just as carefully as they select their clothes each morning. Your mental habits determine your destiny far more than your physical possessions ever will. The richest person with a poor mindset will eventually find themselves struggling, while someone who thinks abundantly can start with nothing and build prosperity. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the law of cause and effect applied to the human mind. Here's something remarkable. Your thoughts have no limits. You can think as big as you want. You can visualize any future. You can imagine any possibility. Unlike physical things that take up space and require maintenance, your thoughts cost nothing but create everything. Start paying attention to what you're thinking about throughout the day. Are you replaying past failures or rehearsing future victories? Are you counting problems or counting blessings? Are you focusing on what's wrong or what's possible? Most people's minds run on autopilot, recycling the same thoughts day after day. They wonder why their lives don't change, never realizing they're planting the same mental seeds each morning. The secret to transformation begins with taking control of your thought garden. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, gently redirect your mind toward what you want instead. Don't fight negative thoughts. That only gives them more power. Simply replace them with better ones. If you're thinking, I can't afford that, shift to how can I create the resources for that. If you're thinking, that's impossible, ask instead, what would make this possible? Your mind is always working, always creating, always moving you toward something. The question is, are you directing it, or is it directing it? Or is it directing you, or is it directing you? The moment you take command of your thoughts is the moment your fortune begins to change. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now, in this very moment. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time. Choose wisely, for your thoughts today are creating your life tomorrow. Lesson 2. 1 hour that changes everything. Have you ever noticed that certain people seem to accomplish more before noon than most folks do all day? What's their secret? It's not that they have more time. We all have exactly the same 24 hours. The difference lies in how they use what I call the golden hour. The first 60 minutes after you wake determine the pattern for your entire day. This precious time is like the rudder of a great ship, small in comparison to the vessel itself, but mighty in its power to direct your course. Most people stumble out of bed, immediately check their phones, gulp down coffee, and rush headlong into a day that controls them rather than the other way around. They allow the world to invade their minds before they've had a chance to set their own direction. Is it any wonder they feel powerless by noon? Successful people guard their golden hour fiercely. They recognize this time as sacred ground where they plant the seeds of their greatest achievements. During this hour, they deliberately protect their minds from outside influences that would steal their power and focus. What might this golden hour contain? For some, it's quiet meditation or prayer. For others, it includes reviewing their most important goals, written as if already accomplished. Many use this time to feed their minds with inspiring material that lifts their thoughts above the ordinary. Physical movement often plays a role, energizing both body and mind. The specifics matter less than the principle. Whoever or whatever captures your first hour captures your day. When you surrender this time to newspapers, television, social media, or others' demands, you've handed over the steering wheel before your journey has even begun. One client of mine, a busy mother of 3, found her life transformed when she began rising just 1 hour before her family. That single hour, she told me, has given me back my sense of direction. I'm no longer just reacting all day. Another fellow, a struggling small business owner, credited his golden hour routine with doubling his income in just 6 months. When I use that time to get mentally aligned with my goals, he explained, everything I do afterward seems to flow in the right direction. The habit of guarding this golden hour is not about becoming a morning person if you're naturally a night owl. It's about claiming the first waking hour as yours, whenever that may be. It's about refusing to let the world's urgencies crowd out your priorities. Try this simple experiment. For the next 7 days, dedicate the first hour after waking to activities that nourish your mind and spirit. No news, no email, no social media. Instead, read something uplifting. Review your goals, plan your day with intention, or simply sit in contemplative silence. You'll likely discover what countless achievers throughout history have found. When you take control of your golden hour, you take control of your life. This one small shift. How you use just 60 minutes truly changes everything that follows. Lesson 3. The 6-inch secret to success. Between your right ear and your left ear exists the most powerful tool you'll ever possess. That 6-inch space between your ears, your mind, is where every achievement, every victory, and every breakthrough begins. While the world chases possessions and status, the wise person understands that true wealth begins with what you put into your mind. Consider for a moment how carefully people choose their homes, their cars, their clothing. Their clothing, they'll spend weeks researching the best television or smartphone. Yet how carefully do you select what information enters your mind each day? This is the great paradox of our time. We protect our possessions while leaving our minds wide open to any thought that happens to drift by. Mental clutter is the enemy of clear thinking. Just as you wouldn't try to drive a car through a garage filled with boxes and old furniture, you cannot navigate toward success with a mind cluttered by doubts, worries, and negative thoughts. The average person has about 60,000 thoughts per day. If most of those thoughts are focused on problems, fears, and limitations, how can you possibly create the life you desire? The connection between clear thinking and getting what you want is straightforward. A clear mind can see opportunities that a cluttered mind misses. A clear mind can make decisions without being weighed down by needless worry. A clear mind has room for the big ideas that change lives. Think about the great achievements in history. The light bulb, the airplane, medical breakthroughs, all began as clear thoughts in someone's mind before they existed in physical form. Everything created by humans started as a thought. Your life circumstances today are the physical manifestation of your previous thinking. You must treat your mind like the precious resource it is. Be as selective about what you read, watch, and listen to as you would be about what you eat. Mental nutrition is just as important as physical nutrition. Feed your mind with ideas that uplift, inspire, and challenge you to grow. Cut away the mental junk food of gossip, complaint, and negativity. Remember, what you don't own can't weigh you down. This applies not just to physical possessions, but to thoughts as well. Don't own negative thoughts. Don't own negative thoughts. Don't collect worries like some people collect stamps. Let them go as quickly as they come, making room for thoughts that serve your highest purpose. The true secret lies not in accumulating more, but in clearing away what doesn't matter. When you remove the unnecessary from your mind, you create space for inspiration. In that clear, open space, solutions appear, creativity flourishes, and peace resides. Starting today, guard the doorway to your mind with diligence. Be intentional about what you allow in. Clear away the mental clutter that's been holding you back. Spend time each day in quiet reflection, letting your thoughts settle like water in a pond until you can see clearly to the bottom. This simple practice, done consistently, will transform every aspect of your life. The 6 inches between your ears contain unlimited potential. It's time to clear away what doesn't serve you and make room for the thoughts that will create the life you truly desire. Lesson 4. Plant, cultivate, harvest. Have you ever watched a farmer at work? There's something magnificent about the patient rhythm of agriculture, something we've forgotten in our instant gratification world. The farmer knows what many of us have lost sight of. Success follows natural laws that cannot be rushed. My friends, the universe operates on principles as reliable as gravity. You cannot plant a seed today and stump around your garden tomorrow, demanding it grow faster. The seed requires time underground, where the most important work happens out of sight. Think about that for a moment. The most critical period in a seed's development happens beneath the soil, invisible to impatient eyes. Your goals and dreams follow this same pattern. Most people abandon their dreams too soon. They plant their seeds of ambition on Monday, but dig them up by Friday when no sprout appears. This isn't working, they declare, moving on to plant something else. What a tragedy. Had they waited just a bit longer, they might have witnessed the miracle breaking through the soil. What seeds should you plant in your life's garden? Only those that bring you genuine joy and align with your deepest values. Don't waste precious soil on someone else's vision for your life. Your garden is unique, and what flourishes in your neighbor's plot might wither in yours. Once you've selected your seeds, perhaps a new skill, relationship, or business venture, you must commit to regular cultivation. This means removing weeds of doubt, providing water of positive thoughts, and ensuring sunlight of productive action reaches your growing dreams. Remember, nature never rushes, yet nothing in nature is late. The apple tree doesn't worry about when its fruit will appear. It simply continues drawing nutrients, extending roots, and following its internal blueprint for growth. The harvest arrives precisely when it should, not one moment sooner or later. Your life works the same way. That promotion, relationship, or achievement you seek is developing according to natural law. Your job is not to force the timeline, but to ensure you're creating the proper conditions for growth. Many people fail because they misunderstand this principle. They plant their seed, then immediately start searching for fruit. When none appears, they declare the process broken. How foolish! The tallest oak in the forest was once a little nut that held its ground. Today, examine your life garden. What seeds have you planted that deserve more patience? Which ones need more consistent care? And most importantly, which seeds align with your authentic self? Take a blank page and create your seed planting calendar. Identify 3 important goals, 3 seeds worth nurturing. Then create a simple schedule for their care. Perhaps Monday and Thursday mornings you'll water your business seed with focused work. Tuesday and Friday you'll remove weeds from your health seed through exercise and proper eating. The pattern matters less than the consistency. Remember this truth. The habits that seem small today will create the harvest you reap tomorrow. Plant wisely, cultivate patiently, and your harvest will arrive right on schedule. Lesson 5. The Strangest Secret. I want to share with you today what I believe is the strangest secret in the world. This secret is so powerful, yet so simple, that most people simply overlook it. Here it is. We become what we think about most of the time. Think about that for a moment. Your life right now, every aspect of it, is the direct result of what has occupied your mind. Your dominant thoughts are like invisible architects, silently building the structure of your existence day after day. This isn't mystical thinking. This is how the human mind works. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. If you think about fear, worry, and failure, you'll attract those very things into your life. But when you fill your mind with thoughts of courage, abundance, and success, those elements find their way to you instead. Consider 2 people with the same abilities, same intelligence, and same opportunities. One spends their time thinking about what could go wrong, dwelling on past mistakes and focusing on limitations. The other directs their thinking toward possibilities, solutions, and growth. After a year, these two people will have dramatically different lives. After 5 years, they might seem to be living in entirely different worlds. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. Yet many people use this extraordinary gift to worry, which is nothing more than using your imagination to create something you don't want. Worry is misused imagination. Instead of constructing mental pictures of failure and disappointment, use that same mental energy to visualize the outcomes you desire. Each day, your brain processes thousands of thoughts. Most slip by without conscious direction. But when you deliberately choose your thoughts, you take control of your destiny. This isn't wishful thinking. It's mental focus that leads to physical action. Start directing your thoughts today with a simple practice. Create a small card with your primary goal written in present tense, as if it's already achieved. It might read, I am so happy and grateful now that I am so happy and grateful now that I... and complete it with your most important goal. Carry this card with you. Read it upon waking, at lunchtime, and before sleeping. Feel the emotion of having already achieved this goal. By reading this statement regularly, you're programming your subconscious mind. You're planting the seed of what you want to become. Remember, repetition is the key. Your mind believes what you tell it most often. Make sure you're telling it what you want, not what you fear. The strangest secret isn't really strange at all once you understand it. It's simply the natural law of cause and effect applied to human thinking. Your thoughts cause actions, your actions cause results, and those results make up your life. Choose your thoughts carefully today. Watch them as you would watch precious possessions. Guard the door to your mind with vigilance, because the truth is simple. You will become whatever you think about most. This is the strangest secret, hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to discover its power. Lesson 6. Abundance is your birthright. This world we live in is absolutely teeming with abundance. Look around you, friends. The universe operates on principles of plentiful supply, not scarcity. There are countless stars in the sky, blades of grass in a field, and opportunities waiting for those who understand this fundamental truth. Abundance is your natural inheritance. Most people live their entire lives trapped in scarcity thinking. They believe there's only so much success, so much happiness, so much wealth to go around. They cling to what they have, hoarding possessions while their spirits starve. What a tragic misunderstanding of life's greatest law. The truth is that abundance flows to those who recognize it already exists all around them. When you shift your mindset from, there's not enough to, there's not enough to, there's more than enough for everyone, you open the floodgates of prosperity. This isn't wishful thinking. It's understanding how the universe actually operates. Gratitude is the master key that unlocks this abundance. When you're truly thankful for what you already have, you create the perfect conditions for receiving more. It's like planting a garden. Appreciation is the soil in which all good things grow. The most successful people I've encountered share this quality, deep gratitude for life's gifts, both large and small. Have you noticed how the most generous people often seem to have the most to give? This isn't coincidence. There's a fascinating connection between giving and receiving. Those who clutch tightly to what they have, fearing loss, often experience exactly what they fear. Meanwhile, those who give freely, understanding the circulation of abundance, find themselves receiving in equal measure. Nature demonstrates this principle everywhere. A fruit tree doesn't hoard its produce. It gives freely, and in doing so spreads its seeds far and wide, creating more abundance. The ocean doesn't clutch its waters. It evaporates into clouds that rain down freshness across the land, only to return again in rivers to the sea. You weren't born to live in scarcity. Look at children. They naturally expect good things until they're taught otherwise. They understand intuitively that life is meant to be joyful, exciting, and filled with wonderful possibilities. Somewhere along the way, many of us forgot this essential truth. Starting today, reclaim your birthright of abundance. Begin noticing evidence of plenty all around you. Express sincere gratitude for everything you already have. Give generously where you can, not just money, but time, attention, appreciation, and encouragement, Remember, friends, you can't hoard your way to happiness. True wealth isn't measured by what you keep, but by what you keep, but by what flows through your life. The universe has more than enough for everyone when we understand the laws of abundance. Your birthright is waiting to be claimed. Will you accept it? Lesson 7. Your service determines your reward. What is the true measure of a person's worth? This question has puzzled philosophers for centuries, but the answer is remarkably simple. Your true worth in this world is determined by the service you render to others. The universe operates on a principle so fundamental that most overlook it entirely. You will be rewarded in direct proportion to the value you create. I remember a young man who came to me years ago, frustrated that his career had stalled. "I've been working hard for 5 years," he said, "but I'm still making the same salary." When I asked him a simple question, "Have you increased the value you provide since you started?" he fell silent. He had been doing the same work, providing the same service, solving the same problems. The marketplace rewards growth, not repetition. The greatest secret to unlimited wealth isn't complicated. It isn't found in some breakthrough investment strategy or business model. It's this: find a way to serve more people, solve bigger problems, or solve problems better than anyone else. That's it. Consider the most successful people in any field. They've simply found ways to be useful to vast numbers of people. A doctor who serves one patient at a time earns a good living. A doctor who creates a new procedure that helps thousands earns a fortune. The difference isn't intelligence or education. It's scale of service. Most people have this backward. They ask, "How can I make more money?" instead of "How can I create more value?" Focus on the latter, and the former follows naturally. The marketplace doesn't reward effort. It rewards results. Here's what happens when you shift your focus to service. Your problems shrink. When you're obsessed with solving other people's problems, your own seem to diminish in importance. There's a curious magic in this. The more you give your attention to creating value, the more valuable you become. Look around you right now. Every product, service, and convenience you enjoy exists because someone solved a problem. Your smartphone, your coffee maker, the book in your hands, each represents a solution to a human need. Behind each is a person or team who focus not on what they could get, but on what they could give. Start keeping a value journal. Each evening, write down the specific ways you provided value to others that day. Was it through your work, a kind word, a creative solution to a problem? After a week of this practice, you'll begin seeing opportunities for service everywhere. Raise your standards for the value you provide. If your work touches 10 people today, ask how it could touch 20 tomorrow. If you solve small problems, look for bigger ones. The size of your reward will match the size of the problems you solve. The world is filled with needs waiting to be met, problems longing for solutions. When you align your talents with those needs, you tap into the most powerful economic force in existence. You need not hoard possessions when you understand this principle. True wealth isn't what you own. It's your capacity to serve. Own nothing if you wish, but develop an unlimited capacity to be useful, and you'll have what no one can buy. Purpose, fulfillment, and yes, prosperity. Lesson 8. The miracle of your mind. Right beneath your conscious awareness exists a power so magnificent that, if properly directed, could transform your life beyond recognition. This hidden asset, your subconscious mind, works tirelessly day and night, processing information, storing memories, and, most importantly, accepting the thoughts you feed it as absolute truth. Your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant who never questions orders. When you tell it repeatedly that something is difficult or impossible, it arranges your perceptions and actions to make that belief your reality. But when you fill it with thoughts of achievement and possibility, this same servant becomes your greatest ally in creating the life you desire. Most people never learn to harness this incredible force. They allow random thoughts, worries, and the opinions of others to program their subconscious. They wonder why the same patterns repeat in their lives, never realizing they themselves are writing the instructions for those patterns without even knowing it. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand jokes, sarcasm, or hypothetical situations. When you say, "I'm always broke," even in jest, your faithful servant notes, "Always broke. Got it. I'll make sure that remains true." It then goes to work creating circumstances that match this instruction. The good news is that you can reprogram this powerful ally starting today. The method is simple but requires consistency, just before falling asleep and right after waking. When your conscious mind is most relaxed, feed your subconscious with vivid images of what you wish to become. See yourself already possessing the confidence, skills, relationships, or achievements you desire. Imagine a farmer who plants corn but constantly worries about weeds growing instead. He visits his field daily, picturing it overrun with weeds, feeling the disappointment of a failed crop. Would you be surprised when weeds eventually dominate his field? Your mind works the same way. Whatever picture you hold most consistently will eventually emerge in your outer life. You need not own cabinets full of possessions to be rich. The person who masters their mind owns the most valuable resource on earth. While others cling to material goods for security, you'll have discovered the source of all creation. Your directed imagination, coupled with the incredible power of your subconscious. Try this experiment. For the next 30 days, imagine for 5 minutes morning and night that you already embody your deepest aspirations. Feel the emotions of having already achieved your goal. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. Both create the same neural pathways and emotional responses. Your subconscious works while you sleep, solving problems and organizing information. Before bed, clearly state a problem or question. Then release it, trusting your mind to work on solutions. Often you'll wake with clarity or ideas that weren't available before. The miracle of your mind is always available, waiting patiently for your conscious direction. Unlike possessions that depreciate with time, this resource grows stronger the more you use it. It requires no storage space, cannot be stolen, and remains your faithful servant for life. Lesson 9. The courage to abandon what weighs you down. The ship that refuses to lighten its load during a storm is the ship most likely to sink. In our journey through life, we often find ourselves clinging to possessions that no longer serve us, afraid to let go of things that actually weigh us down rather than lift us up. Consider this profound truth. Courage isn't just about facing external challenges. Sometimes the greatest act of bravery is letting go of what we've been taught to hold dear. I've observed thousands of men and women throughout my life, studying what separates those who live with joy and purpose from those trapped in quiet desperation. One consistent pattern emerges. Those who achieve true freedom have mastered the art of abandonment. They've learned that owning nothing, yet having everything that matters, is the secret to an abundant life. What are you holding on to right now? Perhaps it's physical clutter filling your home, demanding your attention and draining your energy. Maybe it's outdated beliefs about success that keep you chasing things instead of experiences. Or it could be relationships that have turned from nurturing to negative, yet you maintain them out of habit or fear. The law of letting go works with mathematical precision. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for what truly matters. Nature abhors a vacuum. Empty your hands of the ordinary and watch how quickly they fill with the extraordinary, and watch how quickly they fill with the extraordinary. I remember visiting the home of a wealthy industrialist, surrounded by priceless treasures he'd accumulated over decades. Yet in conversation he confessed, feeling burdened by these very possessions. "I don't own these things anymore," he told me with a sad smile. "They own me." Contrast this with a woman I met who lived simply yet radiated happiness. Her small home contained few possessions, but each one carried meaning. "Everything here serves a purpose or brings me joy," she explained. "Anything else is just excess baggage on my journey." The courage to abandon what weighs you down isn't developed overnight. Like any muscle, it strengthens with use. Start small. Choose one drawer, one closet, one limiting belief. As you experience the lightness that comes from letting go, you'll find yourself eager to continue the process. Remember this: we enter this world with nothing, and we leave with nothing. Everything between those moments is merely on loan. The measure of our lives isn't what we accumulate, but what we appreciate. Your assignment today is simple yet profound. Identify 3 things you can release from your life. They might be physical items, time commitments that drain rather than fulfill you, or thoughts that no longer serve your highest good. Write them down, then create a specific plan to let them go within the next 7 days. As you practice the courage of abandonment, you'll discover an ironic truth. The less you cling to, the more life brings to you. Not more possessions, but more of what can't be bought. Peace, purpose, and the profound joy that comes from living unburdened by the unnecessary. Lesson 10. Your greatest possession. Have you ever stopped to consider what your greatest possession truly is? Most people, when asked this question, begin tallying their material goods. They think of their homes, their cars, their investment portfolios, or perhaps family heirlooms passed down through generations. But I'd like you to consider something quite different today. The greatest possession you have, the one thing that truly belongs to you and can never be taken away, is your attitude. Your attitude is the one thing over which you have complete control. You can choose your attitude in any given circumstance, in any given moment. It doesn't matter what happens around you. The economy may falter, relationships may change, health challenges may arise, but your attitude remains firmly within your grasp. Think about that for a moment. In a world where we try to control so many external factors, most of which are ultimately beyond our influence, we overlook the profound power of controlling our internal response. When you wake up each morning, you make a choice. Perhaps you're not even aware you're making it, but you are. You choose how you'll respond to the day ahead. Will you approach it with enthusiasm or dread? Will you approach it with enthusiasm or dread? With expectation or worry? With gratitude or complaint? The wonderful thing about your attitude is that it requires no special equipment to adjust. You don't need to purchase anything to improve it. You don't need anyone's permission to change it. You simply need awareness and decision. I've observed that people who achieve remarkable things in life aren't necessarily those with the most impressive circumstances. Rather, they're the ones who maintain an attitude of possibility, persistence, and positive expectation, regardless of their circumstances. Consider 2 people facing identical challenges. One approaches the situation thinking, "This is terrible. Why does this always happen to me?" The other thinks, "This is interesting. What can I learn here? How might this actually benefit me in some way?" Same situation, dramatically different attitudes, and invariably dramatically different outcomes will follow. Your attitude acts as a magnet. A positive, expectant attitude attracts positive circumstances and people. A negative, defeated attitude does exactly the opposite. And here's the fascinating part. Your attitude affects not just your emotions, but your physiology, your energy level, and even your ability to think clearly and creatively. The good news is that your attitude can be trained and developed just like any other skill. By consciously choosing your thoughts, by surrounding yourself with positive influences, by practicing gratitude, you strengthen your attitude muscle. Your attitude is contagious. It affects not only you, but everyone around you. A single person with a genuinely positive attitude can transform an entire household, workplace, or community. So today, assess your attitude. Is it serving you well? Is it aligned with the life you wish to create? If not, remember, unlike so many things in this world, your attitude is completely within your power to change. It may be the only thing that truly is, and that makes it your greatest possession indeed. Lesson 11. The wealth you cannot lose. Did you know that there's a kind of wealth that no bank failure can touch, no thief can steal, and no market crash can diminish? This wealth remains constant through every economic winter and financial storm. My friends, true wealth isn't counted in dollars and cents. The most valuable possessions you'll ever have aren't possessions at all. They're the qualities of character and mind that you develop throughout your journey. These are the treasures that no one can take from you. Consider the person who builds their life around material things. They become a prisoner to their possessions. The more they own, the more they fear losing. Their enormous house requires constant maintenance. Their expensive car becomes a source of worry rather than joy. The things they thought would set them free have become their jailers. Now, contrast this with a person who invests in their mind, spirit, and relationships. They have cultivated wisdom through study and reflection. They've developed integrity through making right choices when wrong ones seemed easier. They've nurtured loving relationships by giving themselves fully to others. These qualities cannot be diminished by economic downturns or stolen in the night. I spoke with a gentleman who had lost everything in a business failure. His home, his savings, his material security, all gone. Yet when I asked him what he'd learned, his eyes lit up. I discovered that my creativity, my ability to solve problems, and my relationships were the real wealth all along, he said. I can rebuild the material things because I haven't lost what truly matters. You see, when you focus on developing qualities like persistence, courage, compassion, and wisdom, you're investing in wealth that compounds interest without market fluctuations. These qualities actually grow stronger when tested by adversity. The ancient Stoics understood this principle well. They practiced losing things deliberately, going without comforts, facing public embarrassment, enduring physical discomfort, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they wanted to prove to themselves that happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances. What if you approached life this way? What if you held your possessions lightly, knowing that your true worth has nothing to do with what you own? What if you invested your best energy not in accumulating things, but in becoming the kind of person others trust, respect, and love? Start today by identifying one quality you want to strengthen. Perhaps it's patience, or generosity, or courage in speaking truth. Put yourself in situations that exercise this quality, just as you would exercise a muscle. Feel it grow stronger with use. Remember this. At the end of life, people don't talk about the cars they owned or the size of their house. They talk about the love they gave and received, the difference they made, and the wisdom they gained, the difference they made. These are the things that cannot be hoarded because they are not things at all. They are what you become. The richest people I know aren't those with the most possessions. They're those who need the least. They've discovered the paradox at the heart of true abundance. When you own nothing but have developed yourself fully, you possess everything that matters. Lesson 12. The richness of owning nothing. Have you ever noticed how the happiest people often seem to be those least concerned with possessions? There's a peculiar freedom that comes when we loosen our grip on things. I've traveled the world and met people of tremendous wealth who live in constant fear of losing what they've accumulated. And I've met those with almost nothing who radiate joy that money simply cannot buy. This is the beautiful paradox we've explored throughout our journey together. When you own nothing, or at least hold your possessions lightly, you create space to have what truly matters. Most people spend their lives gathering more and more, stuffing their homes, their garages, their storage units, and their minds with things they believe will bring happiness. Yet with each new acquisition, they find themselves needing something else to fill the emptiness they still feel. What if the secret is actually to own less, to hold things as temporary guests rather than permanent fixtures in your life? Think of possessions as flowing through your life like water through a stream, serving their purpose for a season, then moving on to serve someone else. The world's wisdom traditions have taught this for thousands of years. The ancient Stoics practiced viewing their possessions as merely on loan from the universe. Eastern philosophies teach that attachment is the root of suffering. And in our modern world, we're rediscovering these truths as people find that experiences bring more lasting joy than things. Consider what can't be bought. You can purchase a house, but not a home. You can buy books, but not wisdom. You can acquire the finest foods, but not health. You can pay for entertainment, but not happiness. You can fund an education, but not understanding. These priceless treasures come not from what we own, but from how we live. I once knew a man who lost everything in a fire, his home, his treasured collections, his family photographs. When I visited him a month later, expecting to find him devastated, I was surprised to discover him more alive than ever. Earl, he told me, losing everything taught me that I never really owned anything to begin with. Now, I'm free to focus on what matters. What would happen if you began treating everything in your life as borrowed? Your home, your car, your clothing, even your ideas, all temporary guests in your journey. This shift in perspective doesn't mean living without nice things. It means enjoying them fully while understanding they're not the source of your worth or happiness. The wealthiest people I know are those who understand that true abundance comes from within. They may have fine things, but they don't define themselves by their possessions. Their sense of self is built on character, relationships, contribution, and growth, qualities that cannot be taken away and only increase with time and attention. As we close our journey together, I challenge you to experiment with owning less while having more. Release what you don't need. Hold lightly what you keep. Focus your energy on cultivating what can't be bought. In this space of freedom, you'll discover that the less you own, the more life you have to live,